So no internet. Oh, Andre, you're in submarines. Baby, have you read Crypt yet? Andre, in the chat room, tell me, have you read The Crypt Shakedown, book 1 of the Crypt series? It is a sci-fi series where Battlestar Galactica is an aircraft carrier in space. The Crypt is a World War II submarine in space. I hope that you dig it. Oh, yep, just completely spilled hot toddy on my keyboard. So give me a second. I can't, God damn it. A, don't get up and rush up stuff to clean up. I got it. A's a Johnny on the spot, you guys. A real girl's like I can drop a glass before it even hits the floor. She's like, shoo! She's already on the path to correct things, fix things, and support the process. That's what she does. God damn it.
You need anything? What happened? You said you spilled something. I don't know what happened.
I was just telling you on the mic, you don't need to come up and get this and then explain to everybody you're like a fucking Johnny on the spot. I said, before I even drop something, you're like, and here you are. That's that ghost out. I will take the paper towel roll, though. Thanks, son. I'm a lucky motherfucker. It's fucking great. Okay, here we go. Let's, Also, somehow on my vacation, I got even more pale, which I didn't think was possible. So now, I've always looked like a walking cadaver. Now I look like a walking cadaver plus 10 pounds from the vacation. But still, this is very corpse-like. I could be a vampire extra in a Blade movie with zero makeup. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it. We got about, we got some people here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to do this up. Here we go. I'm taking off the headphones. And the volume looks okay. Everybody can hear everything. I'm double checking. I don't have an extra microphone on. But I do have that. I did have the speakers on. So that's a good thing. We got it fixed. All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm moving the chat to another screen. I will not be responding directly to anything in the chat. A real girl might, but she has also not read this episode. So she might be mesmerized by the scintillating talent that is this pale ass white boy right here. Let's go. Here we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Steve, I'm hitting record right now. Oh, I got to turn the fan off. Hey, guy. So I might get sweaty as we talk, as I read to you. It's all right. I'm probably not having a heart attack. All right, here we go. Let's see, getting the recording going. And since we edit this for video, those of you who haven't watched so far, as soon as I hit the record button, I introduce it like I would introduce an episode. We're going to dive right into it. Here we go. Hello, welcome to Slay Season 2, episode number 1, which in the continuity is going to be Slay episode number 38. We're going to jump right in. Let me get you the story so far, and we're going to dive right into the new goodies. Previously on Slay. With help from Bobby the Minotaur, Gary Sater, his brother Lucas, and his sister Sophia, Lincoln Franks defeated Dante Oganov, along with his henchmen Oleus Oakbeard and Boss Hogg, thereby stopping Dante from killing Callista and taking over the enlightened crime scene in the city of Lumencia. While Lincoln fought this battle at Callista's club, across town at the Old Stone Church, Billy Littleby Middleton, Magda Magdalene, Ariella Goldsmith, and Dragon, the sometimes Dachshund, squared off against the Rolling Outlaws gang, led by Billy's longtime bully, Butch Riggins. Billy cut his hands severely while freeing Dragon from a magical wire net. Once loosed, Dragon killed the entire gang, leaving a trail of blood and bodies strewn about the church and damaging the nave, which Lincoln and Magda use as their living room. Thinking they had won the day and, somehow, survived against rough odds, Magda used worm-like magical organisms called Carofactors to start healing the wounds of Lincoln and Bobby. Hold on, I gotta do that again. Thinking they had won the day and, somehow, survived against rough odds, Magda used worm-like magical organisms called carofactors to start healing the wounds of Lincoln and Billy, while Bingles and his sex gnomes cleaned up the carnage left by Dragon's rampage. Bingles sensed a dark presence approaching the church. He and his crew bailed, leaving Lincoln, Magda, Ariella, and Dragon to square off against this new threat. That dark presence turned out to be Billy's grandmother, who, unbeknownst to Billy, is an incredibly powerful mage. Wearing only a tutu, the elderly, overweight woman proceeded to kick the living shit out of Lincoln and company, putting Lincoln down with a lightning blast to the groinal region. And now, Episode 1 of Slay, Season 2. Lincoln adjusted his position in the lawn chair. "Magda," he said, "will you give me some ice for my nuts?" On the lawn chair to his right, Magda rubbed at her temples. "Get it your own damn self," she said. "My head is killing me." Lincoln's head was killing him, too, a side effect of magical electrocution. His nuts felt like they had been cooked in a microwave. The bag of frozen peas was the only vegetable left in the house. He doubted anyone would eat it now, after it had resided in his pants. "I'll get it for you," Ariella said. She headed for the kitchen, but made it only 2 steps before the moo-moo-wrapped wrecking ball leaning against the blood-spattered beer pong table raised a finger in warning. "You keep your skinny ass where I can see you," the old woman said. The old woman, known only as Gramma thus far, breathed slow and deep, trying to recover from the battle. Battle wasn't really the right word, Lincoln knew, as the overweight wizard had kicked the collective asses of him, Magda, Ariella, and Dragon. "Grandma," Billy said, "could you talk a little bit quieter? You're scaring my dog." Billy sat cross-legged on the lawn chair to Lincoln's left, a trembling, long black-furred dachshund curled up in his lap, tail tucked tight between her little legs. Dragon whimpered softly. She, too, still felt the effects of the wizard's painful, powerful threadwork. Billy couldn't pet her on account of the worms slowly weaving in and out and around his hands and his fingers. "All right, William, baby," Grandma said, her voice softer. "I can do that." Dragon wouldn't leave Billy's side. Shitbird, on the other hand, was nowhere to be seen. The Raven was made for recon, not fighting. When fists flew, Shitbird headed for higher ground. Lincoln shifted in his seat, and he winced. "Since we're prisoners in our own place, you mind telling me why you came in so hot? And what's your name, anyway? Someone of your power, living in Lumencia? I should have heard about you long ago." Magda grunted in agreement. Ariella said nothing. Billy sat there, wide-eyed, slowly scooching Dragon's chest. "Grandma's fine," the old woman said. "The less you know about me, the better." "At least you're consistent," Billy said, a dark bite to his words. "Seeing as I don't apparently know anything about you, either." Grandma winced, and it wasn't due to electrocuted testicles. "I know, William, baby," she said. "This has to be hard on you, but trust me, it's for the best." Billy shook his head. "That ain't gonna cut it, Grandma. I got some kind of power in me. I thought it came out of nowhere, but after seeing what you can do, I figure you knew it was there all along, and you didn't tell me. That about right?" The look on Grandma's face reminded Lincoln of his father. Jacoby Franks did not truck with the back talk. Neither did Grandma. But this wasn't a kid complaining because he couldn't get the car for the night or because he didn't want to clean his bedroom. "Of course I knew," she said. "I blocked your power and dampened mine so as to be undetectable. I did it to keep you safe, and it worked. until your dumbass decided to get into the drug game. Yeah, I found out. That's what started all this, right? You wanted to be a gangster. You wanted to be a big man. I wanted to go to college, Billy said. Billy and Gramma both thought the other was at fault, and yet at the same time, each knew they had done the other wrong. Let's do group therapy later, Ariella said. Answer my partner's question, Grandma. Why did you attack? Who did you think had Billy? The old woman could probably turn Ariella to ash with a snap of her fingers, yet Ariella showed no fear. Lincoln had underestimated the woman from day one. Ariella Goldsmith had a pair. A metaphorical, unelectrocuted pair, but a pair nonetheless. Someone powerful, the old woman looked at Magda. Someone vicious. Magda sat forward. Vestinian? You telling us a Vestinian is after Billy? I'm afraid so, Grandma said. He wants Billy's power. Billy's eyes narrowed. The power that you hid from me? That power? Yeah, that power, Grandma said. You got more than you can comprehend right now. We need to keep you off that man's radar. Lincoln had protected Billy against the likes of Oleus Oakbeard and the Flechette sisters. Vestinian? That was another story entirely. Magda stood sharply. Can Vestinian track Billy's power? Does he know you're Billy's grandmother? Could he have followed you here? Lincoln suffered a hard hit of guilt, remembering how Magda had suffered and still suffered at the hands of Vestinian. Grandma took in a slow breath. No, he can't track Billy's power, she said. Not till Billy show him more than he does right now. Yes, Vestinian knows my connection with William. And no, he didn't follow me. I burned a big fat hunk of thread to make a decoy. I sent it to Toledo. He's probably chasing that decoy right now. William and I need to get far away from here before we detox and go cold. Ariella nodded. The sooner, the better. Don't let the door hit you on the collective ass. Billy hung his head. Ariella might have a pair, but she could use some lessons intact. William, baby, get your things, Grandma said. And before you ask, we can't take your dog. She'll be fine right here. Billy hung his head. Magda picked up her blue glass bong, held it tight to her chest. She stared off, unable to look at Billy. Lincoln cleared his throat. He caught Magda's eye. They had been partners and best friends so long, he didn't need to spell it out. This was her call to make. He would fight to protect Billy, but he couldn't force Magda to do the same. Vestinian was her living nightmare, a dark shadow in the closet no matter where she lay her head. He saw the fear in her eyes, the turmoil of her resurgent memories. And yet, almost imperceptibly, Magda nodded. So brave, so selfless. Billy can stay, Lincoln said, if that's what he wants. Billy's head snapped up. Really? Grandma waggled a finger. No, no, no. William ain't staying here, she said. Boy, I said get your things. If I have to tell you one more time, I will drag you out of here, kicking in the blink of an eye. Ignoring the pain in his head and in his beanbag, Lincoln came out of the lawn chair and crossed the room, had a firm yet gentle hand on Grandma's throat before she had time to react. This is my home, he said. You do not threaten my friend in my home. During the fight, Grandma had burned through her readily available thread. Outside, she could probably still trash him in a heartbeat, but she had let herself get too tired and then too close. Grandma moved only her eyes, glared at him with fury. You put your hands on me, boy? That's a mistake. Her eyes started to swirl with yellow mist. Both of you stop it, Billy snapped. Link, let her go. Grandma, stop being an asshole. The kid's vehemence caught them both off guard. Billy was the victim here, not Lincoln, and not Grandma. Lincoln lowered his hand. Grandma blinked rapidly, and the yellow mist vanished. Sorry, William, baby, she said. I'm just trying to keep you safe. By lying to me? Billy shook his head. My whole life long, you lied to me? Grandma nodded, unashamed. Better to keep you in the dark than have you torn to pieces. Well, I'm not in the dark anymore, Billy said. I'm staying here. I don't want nothing to do with you for a little while. There was something in the kid's voice Lincoln hadn't heard before, a foreshadowing, perhaps, of the man Billy might become. Whatever it was clear his mind was made up and there would be no talking him out of it, for any reason. William, Grandma said, I have to go. If you don't come with me, you're not only putting yourself in danger, you're putting your friends in danger too. Think about that. Billy turned wide, watering eyes toward Lincoln. Lincoln nodded. Billy did the same with Magda, a silent, "Are you sure?" Magda nodded. Billy faced his grandmother. I'm staying. Grandma seemed to sag. In that small collapse, Lincoln sensed the work she had put in, the sacrifices she must have made. A wizard going cold, shutting their power off completely, that was a rare, rare thing. All right, she said. It's your choice. I hid something else from you. The way you look, well, it ain't the way you look. Billy's brow furrowed in confusion. What are you talking about, Grandma? Am I? Oh my God, Grandma, I'm not white, am I? She rolled her eyes. Oh, hell no, nothing so bad as that. Ariella raised a hand. You know, a white person is standing right here, yeah? Be quiet, Miss Thang, Grandma said. William, it's not that you aren't black, it's that you aren't small. Stand up. Magdalene, get those worms off him. Billy shifted his hips, letting Dragon fall gently to the chair. Then he stood, his worm-writhing hands held up in front of him. Magda pulled the worms from his hands and fingers. Billy gagged only once as they slid out from under his skin. Grandma rolled her neck. Lincoln heard vertebrae pop. Stay still, William, baby. She stretched a hand toward him. To a vera forma videatur. Yellow mist seeped from her fingertips, crept toward Billy, and curled around him, hiding him from view. Yellow mist swirled before Billy's eyes. He felt like he was in a tornado from The Wizard of Oz. He heard Dragon's anxious barking. It's all right, Dragon baby, he said. I'm fine. The barking stopped. Billy realized he had addressed the pup much the same way Grandma addressed him. He spoke those words because he wanted Dragon to know he was there, to know everything was all right. Grandma probably meant it the same way. Billy loved Grandma. He knew she loved him. He was so mad at her he couldn't see straight. And yet he knew she had meant what she said. She had been trying to keep him safe. Did that excuse her lies? No, not even close. Maybe he could forgive her someday. He was sure he would. But not yet. Not now. The whirlwind of yellow mist faded. Billy saw the blood-spattered movie screen first, then the rest of the room. The room looked different. The same, but different. "Well, damn," Ariella said. "You ain't so little bee." He looked at her. Had she gotten smaller? "Crazy," Magda said. "This some Zoltan shit right here." Zoltan. Billy knew that name from that old Tom Hanks movie, Big. Ariella hadn't gotten smaller. Billy had grown. He looked at Lincoln. They were the same height? Lincoln had been half a foot taller. Now, Billy looked him in the eye. What the hell? Billy looked down at his own feet. Magda's pajamas had been too large. Now, the cuffs stopped at his calves. He looked at his arms. The sleeves ended close to his elbows. And his muscles. Billy squeezed his forearm, then his bicep. It was him. He could feel it. But it wasn't him at the same time. "I'm not small." He looked at Grandma. "Why did you change me?" "I didn't," she said. "This is who you always were." Billy felt a burst of joy. It was a small boy's dream come true, but that burst faded instantly, replaced by the frustration and humiliation he'd suffered from endless abuse at the hands of Butch, Money Monday, and the like. "Hey, Link," Billy said. "How tall are you?" 6'3", Lincoln said. "A smidgen over, actually." 6'3". Before the mist, Billy had been 5'4". His whole life long, he'd been the shortest, skinniest boy in class, and he had suffered for it. "Hey, your eyes are different," Lincoln said. "They're green." 6'3" with green eyes? If Billy had looked like that during his senior year, he'd have gotten all the girls. Instead, the girls had ignored him. He had not gone to his own prom. Not that he could have afforded it anyway. He had grown up poor because Grandma didn't use her powers and would not let Billy use his. She was his guardian, his caretaker, the one person in the world who was supposed to look out for him. "Why did you do this to me, Grandma? You got any idea how hard it was to be the smallest kid in the neighborhood? The smallest in school? Any idea how much I got bullied?" He half expected Grandma to show shame or embarrassment. She showed neither, which embarrassed him. She showed neither, which infuriated him all the more. I kept you small so you'd avoid conflict," Grandma said. "I couldn't have you getting into fights, William, baby. Fights bring out emotion. The more anger and aggression you feel, the more likely your innate power might have overwhelmed my blocks. I couldn't allow that." Billy thumped a finger against his sternum. "I got my ass kicked over and over again. You have no fucking idea what that's like, do you?" Grandma stared back at him, unapologetic. "I protected you from Vestinian." Billy glanced at Magda, at the scars on her face. She clutched that bong to her chest as if it would protect her. She and Lincoln had fought Vestinian. Vestinian had cut her all up. Vestinian was the reason she couldn't leave the church. "Vestinian wants my power?" Billy said. "Why? I don't have any of that thread stuff in me, do I?" Everyone looked to Grandma. Lincoln, Magda, and Ariella didn't know the answer to Billy's question. "There's different kinds of power," Grandma said. "The kind you got, William baby, it's special. It's rare. You ain't the first one Vestinians come after. There was more to that story than Grandma was willing to say. Billy could sense that. Grandma, don't go, Billy said. If this guy's as dangerous as you claim, he'll come after you. We can fight this guy. Right, Link? We can fight him? Lincoln pointed to his crotch. You see me standing here with a bag of frozen peas in my goddamn pants? Billy nodded. You see Magda still hurting from your grandmother's power? You see Dragon with her tail still tucked? Billy knew where Lincoln was going with this, but maybe Lincoln wasn't seeing the big picture. I get it, Billy said. Grandma is a badass, but so are you. We can all work together and take this guy out. I can help, maybe. How Billy would help? He had no idea. But he wasn't going to let that asshole hurt his grandmother. Yeah, your grandma is a badass, Lincoln said. You notice she isn't talking about fighting Vestinian? That's because he's a badder ass. He's on a whole different level, kid. Lincoln's reaction, his expression, they frightened Billy. Billy had seen Lincoln in action. He was afraid of Vestinian too? I can't stay much longer, Grandma said. William, baby, are you sure you won't come with me? This was more than moving out of her place, more than finding his own way in the world. This was a life and death decision. Not just for Billy, but for Lincoln, Magda, Ariella, and Dragon, too. Ariella wanted him to leave. Lincoln and Magda wanted him to stay. Billy looked at Dragon. If he left with Grandma, he might never see the pup again. I'm staying, he said. Grandma sighed. She shook her head. You've made your decision, she said. Time for me to go. Vestinian is looking for a short, scrawny boy. He's looking for Little B. No one will recognize you the way you look now. That'll help some. I suggest you fake Little B's death. That'll help a bit more. But eventually, William baby, Vestinian is going to find you. You need training. If you don't get it, you will die. Come with me, and I can give you that training. Now she wanted to use that bullshit excuse to get him to leave the old stone church. You had plenty of time to train me. She had hidden his true self away. You had years. She had hidden his power. She had made him a victim. You didn't do jack shit. Grandma started to shiver like she was standing on hot blacktop. Was she using her magic again, this time to flat out rub it in his face? Hey, Billy, Lincoln said. You're getting a little amped up. Take it easy. Look at his eyes, Ariella said. Grandma raised her hands. They started to glow lemon yellow. William, baby, calm down, she said. Take a slow breath. Calm down. Calm down. Fuck that. You wanted me to get my ass kicked, Billy said. You wanted it. Grandma shimmered more, wavering like a wind-snapped flag. Her hands glowed orange now. She looked red. Everything in the room looked red. Somewhere far away, Dragon started barking. Billy's face felt hot. So did his chest, his stomach, his arms, and his legs. He felt like he was on fire. William, baby, calm down, Grandma said from somewhere, but Billy couldn't see her, couldn't see anything but waves of heat that filled his brain, that cooked him alive. I'm so hot, he said. Grandma, help me. He heard Dragon's furious barking, heard Lincoln yelling at him, heard Magda yelling at him, but he couldn't understand their words. The heat. He had to get rid of it. He had to. Billy's body lurched. That heat shot out of him, leaving him too weak to stand. As he fell, he smelled burning plastic and wood. He heard the screams of his friends. Before he hit the floor, he caught a glimpse of the blood-spattered projection screen, blackening and curling with angry red flames. That was episode number 1, season 2 of Slay. Hope you guys come back for the next episode because things are going to get hot. That's it. Good day. And I finished recording. So now I'm back to talk to all of you lovely people. Let's go to chat. Baby girl, if you want to come up with an arsenal of cleaning supplies, come on up. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Oh. Entrance who?
Sort of high again, you guys.
That was so funny, babe.
So it was so. Hear you.
It was so pitch. It was so pitch perfect. I can't even describe it. All right, let's go ahead and there we go. Your microphone's on. Let's go to main A cam. Whoop, shit. Show me some. Hey everybody, look who's here.
Again. Here again. I jumped in early. I didn't know what I didn't know. I jumped in early.
Can you hear yourself okay, sweetie?
Yes, it sounds great.
Great. All right. Hello everyone.
This is a little catch can.
Yeah, I was trying to work on the microphones, trying to fix a problem. Steve's going to be here this week to help us work on our various audio issues. And brother, we got plenty of audio issues in this fucking house.
He's like, oh, I'm so excited to come and help you guys.
No. Audio people with the ear people, they love this shit. They're like, oh, is there a problem to solve? Let's work on this shit.
You know what? That's a good point. And but true.
I didn't mean to refer to you, Steve, as one of those people, but that's the way it goes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I forgot to tell you what I am going to talk about after the episode. So let me plow through it right now. We're going to dive right into it. Obviously, tonight's the new read of the new season of Slay. I hope you enjoyed it. Then we're going to go through the schedule of Zistank, what's coming up in the next few weeks and months. Talk about our new GFL full series podcast, and then we're going to chit chat. And if we have time, we want to get your input on the Slay episode numbering system. Sounds like that should be an obvious thing. It's not. So we're going to talk about that right now. Yes,
okay.
Dear. Go.
I was going to say, we did have a lot of questions. A handful of you emailed and asked, how was our trip? Are we okay? All of that stuff. If you are a regular Sigler in Place watcher, you will know that we did not have a Sigler in Place last Wednesday.
That's
because
right.
We were on a tour of the entire East Coast of the United States. We started in New Orleans. We had a wonderful time. We watched the Lions play with good friends of ours. It was lovely.
Dr. Dan Bigger, PhD. Dr. Abby
Who
Pearl,
was
PhD.
in the chat room. And then we went to visit our
Jimmy
nephew
Mustache.
and niece.
Yep.
In North Carolina, in Charlotte, North Carolina, which was wonderful. We love them to death.
Oh my
and it was
God, they're the
super
best.
fun.
They're the best.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have kids, so clearly my nephews and nieces are basically going to be them.
That's true. And
kids.
all of the nephews and nieces' progeny will also.
Shit, are you kidding me? Bruce Bach in the fucking house?
Hey, Bruce Bach.
Bruce Bach, you smart motherfucker. Welcome to the show. So fucking happy to see you. I'm just going to swear at you now. Apparently that's... which is no surprise to Bruce, frankly.
And then,
Bruce understands.
We went to New York City, which is where, as you guys know, I'm his big city girl, right? So we went to New York City and had just a one afternoon looking at the Christmas lights and all of that
I would call
jazz.
it a soiree. We had a soiree.
What is that? Where Biddy hit me?
Probably, yeah.
Okay, yeah. If you guys see this little thing here, Biddy scratched me with her nail a few days
Bruce,
ago,
so
but
much
it's showing
is
up
new.
on the lights.
Bruce,
so.
stick around. Hang out for the next half hour, Bruce. We're going to cover a bunch of shit. I'll fill you in everything that's going on. But my God, it's good to see his name. It's so
we
great.
had a lovely time in New York City for exactly one night. The next morning we got up, we went to my brother and sister-in-law's house in Westchester County in New York, and it was wonderful. I got to see my sister-in-law's parents, who I have known pretty much my entire life, and got to visit with her siblings and got to spend some time with Jude and Lauren, who are among my favorite people on earth. And then the next day, We all caravan to Boston to see the Army-Navy game, and it was
Shipping out to Boston.
absolutely a bucket list item. It was so incredibly cool. If
Good
any
times.
of you ever have, if you're at all a football fan and you ever have an invite to go do that, you don't know what you're missing, and you should go. And the last thing I'll say is that we absolutely got the joy of inviting friends who we've had for years from this community. Chris McWhite and his gorgeous wife, Wyona, joined us. That's the first
was
time
so
we met
fun.
in person, and we spent
Super
the whole
fun.
day together, and we had dinner together, and it was spectacular, you guys.
Great times. Great times. I gained 8.5 pounds on vacation.
You did.
I
You
packed
lost half of it.
8.5 pounds. No, I've lost about 75%. Yes, very close.
yeah.
About, it was, oh my God. I had finished a manuscript before we went out, shipped it off. That was the Warpath manuscript, which we're not going to talk about tonight, but I finished manuscript, and as happens in the Sigler West Coast family, when you finish a manuscript, you eat everything. What do you want to eat? Everything. And I ate it all, and it was fucking great, and I'm so not myself.
But it's December in North America, so it's
Yeah.
holiday season too. There's lots of cookies and stuff, so you're gonna be fine in January.
All right, we're going to go through our housekeeping real quick. This is the stuff. I'm going to explain everything to Bruce. Like I haven't seen him here before. Bruce, we go through the housekeeping shit, then we get into new content. Let's go through the housekeeping. Number one, if you are not signed up for our newsletter, what the fuck is wrong with you? Sign up for that shit. Bruce, that's you. Go to scottsigler.com/newsletter. Just sign up. We don't spam you. It's about once a month. It's great. And then, of course, this is the hotness right here. Text SIGTEXT to 855-955-5095. We let you know when we're doing live streams. We'll let you know with new news. We'll let you know when new books are out. We keep it tight. We keep it pretty fucking
do.
tight. Short bursts every now and then. It's pretty fun.
We are working with the company that does this, but right now it seems like some countries outside the U.S. can sign up and some cannot, and we don't control that. So I know a lot of Australian junkies have trouble signing up, and I can't help you with that. Lots of European junkies have trouble signing up, and I so far can't help you with that either. But we're working on it.
In the chat room, we have Heidi Watkins, who says, our daughter is an Army captain. Our son is a Navy Lieutenant JG and a Marine here. Split for the Army-Navy game. I think that's 2-1. I think that's 2 Navy to 1
It's
Army.
kind of weird, though, because my brother who invited us to the game, my brother and sister-in-law took us to the game. My brother was in the Army and in the Navy. So while I believe his heart lies with Army because except for me, I'm a Muggle, but all of both my parents and my brother, all Army. My brother also joined the Navy before he retired out of the military. So I asked my sister-in-law sort of privately, I pulled her aside and I was like, okay, are we Army or are we Army/Navy? And she was like, listen, I believe that Jude's heart lies with Army. I believe that's his heart. But he's not going to be mad if Navy wins either. And I love that because that's exactly how I am. It's a house divided, but it's a very shallow line, and there's probably hot chocolate that gets passed across it.
It was so cold at the game. We're going to move on from this after this, but it's a funny story. We're so cold from the game. There's 2 funny things about the story. 2 funny things about the game. So cold from the game. A goes and gets a hot chocolate, is drinking it. She hands me a glass. She's like, would you like chocolate? I'm like, she put chocolate in a cup. She goes, well, it was a hot chocolate. Now my nipples are freezing and it's just regular chocolate.
I
So
didn't say the nipple part. You
I
guys
added
know
that.
me. You guys know
I
me.
embellished. It's what I do. And the other thing we had was before the game, I, like a wise person who's attended many football games in my life, I don't order 1 hot dog. I don't order 2. I order 3. I eat 1 right away. I put the other hot dogs in the sweatshirt pocket. So I got 2 pocket dogs in the house, right? No, and shit. Now I forgot. God damn it.
Are you talking about Lolo?
No.
Oh.
No, I forgot what I was
Well,
saying.
I'll tell you the thing I thought you were going to say. That
Go ahead.
So he had, and he posted it on social media, but I didn't know, and my gorgeous sister-in-law Lauren didn't know. And at one point, she's talking to me about like, okay, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Whatever. And she's sitting here. I'm sitting here and Scott is sitting right next to me. So she's looking directly at me and she's like, okay, so after the game, listen, if this is a show. Did he just pull a hot dog out of his pocket? And I look at Scott and he has taken his 3rd pocket dog out of his pocket and is putting mustard on it and eating it. And she is so stunned, she cannot speak.
I don't want to wait for the lines. I don't want to wait for the fucking lines. So I got the hot dogs in a pocket, and it's I still can't remember what the second funny part of the story was.
awesome.
But that's the way to go, you guys. If you go to a game, you don't want to wait in line. You get all your food at once. Get the things that are foil wrapped, hot dogs, burgers, peanuts, the big bags of the roasted nuts they have, any of that stuff, and you just bring a sweatshirt pocket, you put it in there. You don't have to leave the game. That way you only have to leave to take a wee, and you will enjoy more of the game. Thank you, D79. Appreciate that.
Yep, it was an awesome, awesome Army-Navy game. Also, right before the game started, my brother said, hey, listen, we normally leave after halftime because it's not a great
Oh my God, it was a
and
killer
it's
game.
very, very cold. And it went literally to the last second.
It was a last second play by Navy. They didn't capitalize, but the whole first half, I was upset because I'm not getting into the football details, but I'm like, Navy, why the fuck aren't you throwing to the wideout? They're playing 10 yards off the ball. In the second half, actually the fourth quarter, they started doing that, and they came back as a little too little, a little too late. Yeah. But Army won that game. It was fantastic. We had a great time. All right, let's go over the schedule of the stank. Ready?
Yes. All the junkies are with you with the pocket dogs, though.
Pocket dogs, dude. I'm telling you what, man.
Jenna says that's just good hot dog management.
It's shit.
It's just good hot dog management.
You know what? So they're a little cold. So fucking what? They're still delicious. Oh my God, they're so good. They're so good. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go over the schedule of the stank. December 10th, last Sunday, over at scottssigler.com, we posted Blood is Red Q&A Part 2. It's the magic while we were gone. That shit posted automatically thanks to Allie Press, who does that for us. And then coming up on December 17th, in the podcast feed, you are going to hear the story you just heard with Steve cutting out I only had 2 flubs. That was amazing.
Good for you.
That's a new record. Then December 20th.
You're pretty awesome, though.
I am. I'm sweet. December 20th that's Sigler in Place. That'll be the live read of Slay episode Season 2, E2. We're going to talk about those numbers in a minute. And then January 6th, we have coming up the Junkie Meetup. I am never there. I'm with you guys all the goddamn time. Sometimes A is there, sometimes not. But you know who is there all the fucking time? It's Steve the Iceberg Ricky Berg. It is a 7-hour marathon of junkies hanging out and chit-chatting about their lives and doing their various things. And you know what? Just go to bit.ly/junkiesparty. January 6th, Saturday, 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. 2 a.m. Eastern time, and Steve will hook you the fuck up. And
I'll see you that Saturday at some point.
So that's what you say, but you don't know parties could happen. And then February 14th, we're gunning for this date, although we've had a very important empty set meeting. Very, very important stodgy meeting. We both wore ties. It was very stodgy. The room was...
both what?
We both wore ties. We wore suits and ties.
Oh, we wore ties. I thought you said we both worked tie, and I was like, I did not.
We were also working
I was
high.
not. I was not.
I was...
No.
High as balls, as they say. February 14th, Valentine's Slay. We are hoping to have the Slay audiobook and ebook available for sale. The print book will not be available at that time because we're sort of up against it deadline-wise. We have not gotten some things done as a company that we need to get done. So now we're like, okay, we're going to try and get out because February 14th is a pretty sweet day. If we don't meet the February 14th, it will be out April 1st, which is Sigler Ascension Day. February 14th, 2024, Slay Season 1 should be available, ebook and audiobook, and then whenever the print's available after that, we will kick that out. There's some bullshit. Hit that fan. There is some bullshit, like we're not going to talk about it, but there's so many moving parts to this, and we are trying to work a thing with our contract with Audible that means we have to move at a very slow, steady pace as far as getting things up in the store, which means the ebook and the audiobook are of huge importance to us. They're massively important to our company. The print book, when it's available, we will kick that out. But those two things come first, just so you know.
Hey, Gary. So nice to
Gary
see you
Lindros
out
in the house.
there.
What's up?
I will add to that and say part of it is although we have been publishing books since 2009, we're still what's considered a small publisher. So there are rules that Amazon sets for you to upload everything, and it leads with the digital copies. So we're going to do that, hopefully get all that done. If we can't, we'll move it to April 1st. But we'll also do print on demand for Slay. So that is the soonest we can get it to you. That is also going to mean that these will not be able to be autographed before you get them. So we'll talk about that next week, what we have planned for that.
You know what? When Slay comes out, it's going to be like I'm an actual other person author who doesn't cater to every goddamn whim. No, what it means is we're not going to be able to sign them and ship them out, but you're going to have to then get your book and track me down on the road at some point. So buy yourself a Slay hardcover. The cover is being done by Scott Pond. You guys have already seen that cover. The Slay Season 2. As you can see, we got that change to get Rob on there. When the print book comes out, it's going to largely look like this. The red version of this with Scott Sigler and Rob Otto, which I am over the moon fucking proud of. I could not be more excited to have my name on a book with a guy I grew up with, a guy I think is one of the funniest, smartest motherfuckers I know, one of the best people I know. I'm like almost verklempt. I'm so fucking excited. My high school pals putting this shit out. Go ahead, babe.
And I have had the benefit of watching them work the outline for the whole series of Slay this past summer in Sheboygan for literally 10 hours a day for an entire week. And just you guys wait. Just you guys wait for Slay 2 through 5 when they are co-writing and firing on all cylinders together. My goodness, it's so exciting. It's so exciting.
Rob, I got to tell you, I'm so excited. I love you. I'm not saying I would take a bullet for you, but I would push Danny Baker in the way because he would also take a bullet for you. So we all kind of cooperate. We kind of, that was mean. That was very mean. It did not come out as funny as I thought it was going to. Sorry, Dan.
I'm definitely not putting any of you in front of a bullet.
Let's get into, let's see. D79 says, are you giving us permission to stalk you from convention to convention? Abso-fucking-lutely. You can stalk me at conventions. Just don't come to my house because I am fucking armed and that's not going to work out. Let's go to, here we go. We're doing the fun shit now. Let's go to here and boom. We've been a little bit backlogged on the review counts. So let's talk about this. It's one of my favorite things to talk about because you guys are so dope. Druden, the feature-length script that I wrote with Adrian Picardi, who is a director. People over at Graphic Audio turned that into a full audiobook, like a 2-hour.
It's a full cast audio.
Full cast audio. That's what I was looking for.
It's only 2 hours long.
And we have 11 ratings right now. So if you have listened to this, pop on over to Audible and leave us a rating because it's very helpful for the algorithm and all the other shit.
And I will share with you guys that Graphic Audio has never done anything but an already existing novel. And Scott emailed them and said, we have worked so well together. I have this screenplay, which would lend itself to a full audio drama, but you guys don't seem to do screenplays. And they were like, we do not. We might with you, though. So if you listen to it and you enjoy it and you review it, that might make it easier for not just Scott, but other writers because I guarantee you all your favorite writers, they have screenplays too. And we can do more of his screenplays, which might not find another home in audio, and you might hear other people. So if you liked it and you want to leave a review, that would be very helpful for us and also recorded books.
And speaking of reviews, you motherfucking bitches. You fantastic, glorious, shiny, sparkly bitches. I haven't looked at the Crypt reviews for a while. The Crypt is still at a 4.6 average rating, 416 ratings. That's all you motherfuckers. You're fantastic. Remember, if you've read the Crypt or listened to the Crypt and you go leave a review over at Audible or at Amazon, take a minute and vote helpful on all of the other 5-star reviews. That kind of shit is part of the secret sauce of how publishing works now. It helps us a ton. Look at all these motherfucking bitches. So good. So I got to go through and I have to mark up helpful on all the new ones. And there will be people who shit on the book. Don't worry about it. It's fine. There's nothing you can do about it. Just fucking, let's accentuate the positive.
And we want people of all stripes to have the opportunity to listen. And we just rely on the people who understand it and love it to help.
And then, of course, to finish up this segment, we have now 4,274 ratings on Mount Fitzroy, which is amazing. That means the next time we go to Audible and say, hey, Audible bitches, I got this stank for you. Would you like to publish it? They will say, yes, we would love to publish that shit. So if you've read Mount Fitzroy, again, go to Audible, go to Amazon, check that shit out. And then, of course, there's the Kingpin. The Kingpin, you guys have done us. You guys are the reason we have this business. Thank you so much. Earth Core is now 14,452 ratings. We're closing in at 14,500. Those are ludicrous numbers. Coffee for closers, right here, pal. We get that. So thank you very much for that. We appreciate it.
And just to put a very fine point on what Scott said, he said that book is our Kingpin as Empty Set Entertainment. And what he's specifically talking about is how well that book has done on Audible to sustain our business for you guys through the pandemic, all the things. And so all of that really matters to us. We ask it all the time of you guys. You guys are so good in delivering, and we just want to let you know that it makes a huge difference for us.
It's a huge difference. Okay, so let's go back to Maine. All right, so a couple quick. We're running out of time. Although baby just gave me a scotch, so we might run a little bit long. We're gonna get through the other housekeeping stuff, and then we're gonna get in the sleigh conversation. Because those of you who are still here, I really would love your opinion on this. Your feedback helps form what we do. Helps form our business choices quite a lot, and I'm very excited to hear about this from you guys. This you may not know. Let's go over to back to books. Did you know, ladies and gentlemen, that the Galactic Football League, the entire series, unabridged, we brought it back. It is now serialized. The whole thing is going to run. It is available on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, which are the two big ones, and any podcast engine that you use. So you just go to Spotify, you search for, I don't know if you can see that. I'm taking Galactic Football League. Hit return. Bada boom, bada bing. There you go. And we look right here. Right now, we've already finished the rookie. Now we are moving on to Title Fight. All of these episodes right here. That's all the rookie. Title Fight is in the feed. This is all free. It's ad supported, so you're going to hear ads inserted. But the biggest thing about this is you guys can listen to it again if you so choose. But talk about dishing out a little hit to someone in your family, some of your friends maybe, some guy you met at the fucking grocery store. You're like, hey, listen, I see you got a jersey on. Let me talk to you about a thing my friend does. My friend, I know him. He's a good guy. I'm going to give you this free shit right here, and you're going to listen to it. It's fucking fantastic.
So Sean Dyer asked a question we've gotten several times. He's in the chat room on Twitch. He asked this. So it's going in story chronological order. And the answer to that is yes. We've gotten that email a handful of times. I know you've gotten that question. I've gotten that question. Yep. Yes, it goes in story chronological order. And you can skip around once it's all published, but in the next couple of years, couple of months, it will come out in chronological, in story order.
Now, that story order is blessed by John Viscara, the continuity czar, who's gone through and measured where everything falls. Some of the novellas slightly overlap with the novels. Some go between the novels. So this podcast feed, Galactic Football League, on any podcast app you listen to, is the definitive order to listen to the stories, period. If you follow that one, you're going to hear how the whole massive scope of the story takes place. And eventually, when we get 7 done and 8 done and 9 done, they're going to go into this feed too, because we make a little bit of scratch on the advertising part of it. So fucking everybody wins. Now let's talk about this shit right here. Over on, you can talk.
While you're doing that, I want to say, if you guys have a podcast or pod feed burner or whatever that gets you your podcasts, and you're starting to see something called Sigler Slices, and you're not sure what that means, that is the new name, because we're expanding and putting stuff back in the feed for Scott Sigler audiobooks. We had Scott Sigler audiobooks where we had pulled down everything except the first stories in each series, and we had to rename it so that they look different. So if your podcast feed deliverer starts to say Scott Sigler Slices, that's the one.
So keep in mind, the Scott Sigler Slices, which is where you will hear Slay Season 1, Blood is Red, Slay Season 2, and on and on and on. That is different from the Galactic Football League feed. Now we have, you know what? I got so much fucking girthy content. I had to fucking spread it out to other fucking.
That's totally true. Sorry about that, babe.
Slinging it over my shoulder. It's fantastic. All right, now go back to books. Let's go to, just to show you, that's how you find it. Oops. That's how you find it at Spotify, but over on Apple Podcasts, if you do Apple Podcasts, you just go here, search. They do present slightly different, but here is Scott Sigler Galactic Football League. And the beauty over at Apple Podcasts is it lists them by the different seasons. Season 1, Season 2. As soon as we're done with Title Fight, which is playing right now, we'll move on to the starter and on through the thing. Here's the Jimmy hat. 3 episodes a week during the NFL regular season. 3. During the NFL offseason, 2 episodes per week to get through the entire series. And the series is so swollen.
So girthy.
So turgid. So massive.
I don't say girthy a lot, so I'll say it again.
Right now, before I even get to GFL Book 7, at 3 episodes a week during the regular season, 2 during the off season. It's 2026 before we run out of fucking episodes. So if you want to string out one of your pals and get them used to this, it's perfection. It's magnificent. Yes. Fold don't slice. Thank you. Peace out. All right, so there you go. That's that fun shit. And I think that is all of the crap Orange and Black Friday sale, babies. It's almost done Friday. So if you've not heard about this, because it's very possible you haven't, over at scottsigler.com, click the store. Oh, I got to turn this shut off. Hold on. We are still, and how much off is it?
It's a 15% off.
15% off with the code Orange Friday or Black Friday if you don't want to pay attention to detail. And we have all of this new dope-ass stuff over at scottsigler.com. We got all these glasses, pint glasses. We got sippy cups. We got new shirts. We got a bag. This is the jam right here.
The copper vacuum insulated bottle is the most popular thing we have ever made.
It's
and
so
I use it every
spectacular.
day, and it's great for a warm tea.
So go to scottsigler.com, click the store link or the shop. Go to scottsigler.com/store or go to scottsigler.com, click the shop link. Everything's 15% off with the code Orange Friday until Friday, December 15th.
Yes, this coming Friday at 11:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Yep. Pretty cool. All right, now let's get down to the good stuff. So our wonderful co-producer, Allie Press, is sort of the, you know what she is? She's the Utes.
She is a
She's
Ute.
the Ute.
Yeah.
So our old asses like try and figure out, what is this Spotify? How does it tick? How does a talk tick? I don't understand.
Did you say, how do you talk to?
How does a talk tick? I don't get it. I have a watch. Is that a TikTok? I don't understand. So Allie, however, being a millennial, understands this shit in depth. Also understands the foundation of Spotify podcast, which is an app called Megaphone. And she handles posting all our stuff, putting up all the show notes, everything else. She is initially the one on Slay. Give me yours a minute. This is complicated. On Slay season 1, I'm like, okay, it's season 1, episode 1. She's like, actually, what you want to do is name that episode 101, because that's what all the TV shows are doing. They're doing on the Netflix. I'm like, I don't understand what you're saying with all. So now Slay season 1's numbers started as 101, 102, 103, etc. And Allie went out and studied what Netflix is doing, what all these multiple season TV shows are doing, and other podcasts, fiction podcasts are doing to try and emulate it. Now we're moving into season 2. Now shit has changed. This is where you bitches come in.
Look at Nyoka is with us.
Yeah. Yay for Ellie. Yeah, we gotta. If you don't have the Utes, you don't have the heart and the soul.
I have to add one thing.
Okay.
Allie is looking, when he says she went out and researched it, she's looking at how once we share it on social medias and all the networks, how that lives and breathes as part of her example.
And it's complicated because I just showed you how Apple, you can pull down a pull-down menu to select the season and see things. Spotify doesn't have that. I have no idea what the other podcast sites have it, and there's dozens of them now. So Allie's job and brilliance is to try to find the best answer in this clusterfuck of podcasting. So that's basically her job. I don't know how to put a title on that job, but that is largely her job. What Allie is now suggesting, and here's where you guys come in. What Allie is suggesting is we're doing it sort of she suggests Mandalorian style. Mm-hmm. So going back to Mandalorian, let me come back over here. Bear with me, guys. I'm working. Your input is fantastic. So The Mandalorian, which is one of my favorite, at least season 1 and 2 are my favorite shows. Season 3 was pretty good. It rescued itself at the end. Season 1, what Mandalorian does, I don't know if you guys can see this, chapter 1, chapter 2. When they moved to season 2, they were just like, fuck it, let's just call it chapter 9, chapter 10. So The Mandalorian, which is a huge influence on Slay. Slay is The Mandalorian meets Letterkenny meets Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I think this would kind of work, and Allie's idea, oh, hello, John. Allie's idea of Slay season 2, episode 1 is Slay episode 38.
Yes.
That is the way she is doing it right now. However, this is where I want y'all. Yeah, this is what
I just wanted to.
My thought. This is where I want y'all's opinion. If you were to pitch Slay to your pals, and I'm more of the mind, when I watch a TV show, I look forward to the season arc. Dexter, Battlestar Galactica, etc. Like, because you want to build up to that huge tentpole finale for the season finale. So if it's Slay season 2 is episodes 38, say through episode 58, how do I communicate that to people that episode 58 is this giant big bam boom, what are you going to do? Finish with all the fucking flares and the explosions and fire and chicks and shit. Yeah, babe, go.
And I'm going to add that we are old human beings, right? And so part of the issue here is there are some people in the new world of watching things when you didn't have to have a vice grip to turn the channel to channel 13 on your carbon TV, which is us. They sometimes wait until the season arc is over or 2 or 3 seasons are over, and then they binge watch, which is why the contiguous numbering is important. Yes, it still says number overall, it's the 17th episode. The number in the season, it's the first season in the 2nd episode, but it is technically chapter 17. That's why they do it, because you could go, like, for example, if any of you right now have never watched something like The Sopranos or what's the David Duchovny one? X-Files?
Yeah.
And you go try and find that on the internets, it's going to be confusing because it's not, here's the first episode and here's the 715th episode, and you can just watch in order. And now that smart TV and social media exists, they do it this way. So we're both kind of confused by it, but would love to figure out what is the best way to do this in case people pick it up after the fact.
Yeah, because by 2027 at the latest, all 5 seasons of Slay are going to be done. And we'll print the books as book 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe label them season 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Rob and I and Scott Ponanay have this whole cover idea. We're going to model the cover fonts after the classic 80s, 90s franchise, action franchise movies. But if somebody discovers, say, 2028, and they see Slay episodes 1 through, say, 210, they understand, this is helping me. They understand this whole continuum of Slay is going to have some punctuated equilibriums and some huge moments for the finish, right?
Yes, but we just saw a good thing in the chat room from Daryl, I believe, who says, why can't you just, or no, David something, go a little bit up, but go a little bit back the other way. David Bartley says you could just label the last chapter of the season finale. And we can do that, but we have to do it in the title, not the metadata. So the metadata says it's like episode 40 of Slay or whatever. And the title of the episode, which would show up in your feed burner, would say season finale of Slay season 2, but the actual numeric numbering will say like episode 40 or something.
Let's go to one of Sean Dyer's points. He says, I guess it depends on how self-contained the storylines get. If it's important to get through the whole Slay series in proper order, then keep them numbered chronologically. If book 3 can be read in a vacuum, then I might suggest a break of some kind. Yeah, if you read book 4 of Slay, you might enjoy it, but it's not going to give you the same soul affirming, pulse pounding process it would give you to watch the story arc and the character arcs develop from 1 through 4. So I think Slay is important to read in sequence. Yeah, Bruce Bach says, this is way too much math for Scott. You have no fun. I lost an hour today arguing with one of our online vendors. I'm like, there's 62 cents here that didn't appear before. How are you trying to introduce the European? I spent an hour arguing about 62 cents. Not because I care about the 62 cents. I want to understand why isn't this a line item? I want to know. I can trust your math. So yes, Bruce.
Do you know what Scott makes an hour? It's fucking so much more than 62 cents an hour.
But I can't trust him.
And he
I
spent
can't trust him,
an entire
motherfucker.
hour arguing about 62 cents. 62 cents.
Sean Watts says 102, 101, 102, 103, and then jump to, yeah. But we're not going to spend all day on this. I appreciate your input, but try and sum it up. Part of the problem is the technology of the primary podcast apps. Spotify measures episodes one way, iTunes another. That's 60% of the podcast listening population. Then the other podcast apps, we don't know. So it really, honestly, what it comes down to is the episode title. The only thing that is consistent across all the podcasts are the single title you will see. To give you an example, let's go to books. Let's go to Spotify.
So we're going to figure this
here,
out.
Spotify's here. So here, Blood is Red. There, Slay. If you can see this, let's go to Slay episode 35, epilogue. The only thing that we can fully control across all the podcast spectrum is this title. So that's why Slay episode 35, epilogue. Then there was a 36, 37 Q&A. So Slay episode 38 is episode 1 of season 2. That's why this is complicated.
And I think what we're leaning towards based on feedback from a lot of you is in the episode description, we are going to say, this is season 2, episode 1. This is the first episode of season 2, but it's going to be called episode 38 so that people who are listening 3 years from now know the order they go in. That's the idea.
Bruce Bach just said his mom would be proud of me because I can still do at least some rudimentary math.
Was his mom a math teacher?
Oh my God, yes.
I didn't.
Oh my
know
God,
that.
the Bachs are talented at the math.
I met Bruce, but I didn't know about his mom.
Let's just
So I
say
do want to go
talented at the
back
math.
to Lexi's comment on Facebook a little bit ago. She said, I just started GFL and I absolutely love it so much. I came across your podcast 2 years ago and I have been binge listening and reading since. You're my favorite author/podcaster. Lexi, welcome. If you came into the GFL and that's how you're listening, if you come across some of his other things like his short stories or his scientific horror like Infected series or his Far Future Space Generations, lean into that the same way you lean into the GFL. And anybody who is resistant of the GFL, I don't think any of you would be watching right now, but just in case, if you're worried that you can't read the story because you don't like football, read the story.
Can you get the picture?
I can.
Yeah, get the picture. We're going to close with this. So I have the most fucking amazing fans in the world, readers, who all sort of come up with this various talented, they bring their talent into the Siglerverse. So you guys who hung out this long, we're going to show you a little something special. A little something special. Okay, I went over it. This is, let me have it over here.
His name is Ted Babcock.
This is from Ted Babcock, who's done some of my favorite art. Actually, I've got one piece. He combined Earthcore, Nocturnal, Ancestor, and Infected into one piece of art, which I'll show you someday. But you guys, this is so sick.
It's so
sick.
exciting.
So Ted surprised us with this, and it's so goddamn good. What I'm going to read you as the label of this is going to get worked into actual dialogue in Slay 2.
And I want to say, Ted surprised Scott. He actually reached out to me to send this.
This motherfucker, Ted. Ted, you know what, Ted? You're a solid bitch. That's what you are. You're fucking reliable. If you guys can see this, Ted did a fucking sick-ass shitbird. Got a pentagram, you know, because magic and shit. He does this amazing etching of shitbird, which is going to get framed up in our house. I'm assuming that Ted included some shit coming out of shitbird because Ted gets Siglerism 100%. It's spectacular, and here's what it says.
It's
the actual
so
writing
good.
on it. The speech is filled up with broken cookies and crackers, and it says,
Fucking crackers.
"Give me fucking crackers! Heaping box of infected monkey assholes with a side of donkey colons. Fucking crackers!" So I'm so stoked. I'm so stoked. So thank you,
So
Ted.
that's the, I'll take it.
Thank you.
It's the original art. It's beautiful. And he reached out and said, can I send it along? And I said, yes, of course. And I didn't tell Scott.
Yeah. So thank you, Ted. Bless you. You're fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that does about does it for us.
It does.
We do have another show coming up on December 20th. That is going to be, you should read that. That says your name on it and shit.
I will. Give me just a second. So we absolutely will be back on Wednesday, next Wednesday, December 20th. There is going to... there's going to be another sleigh episode. We're probably going to talk about holidays and things like that right then. And until then,
You know it. Until then, we want you to stay smart.
we absolutely need you to stay science.
Bruce Bach, you hear that shit? Fucking stay science, Bruce Bach. He's, you know what? He's a pagan. He follows all of this crazy myth. No,
Hang
Bruce
on,
is a hardcore.
I do have
data
to.
boy.
I do
He's
have
a
to
good
say,
data guy.
Scott and I left this house on December 1st, and we came back on late on December 10th. And the first 4 days, we were with friends who tested positive for COVID when they got home. So we've been testing for every day for a week, and we're COVID negative. We are also as vaxxed as we can be, and I had COVID and he had COVID. He had COVID long ago, but I had COVID this year, so I might have been. But what I'm saying is, be careful, because you can be around people who don't get sick, who do get sick. It's a crapshoot. And there is a surge in the Northern Hemisphere right now for COVID, RSV, and flu.
Yep.
And I will just mention very quickly, I know he's mad because we should, but also look up respiratory illness for dogs in North America.
No, why would
in
we be mad about that?
2023.
While we're staying science, keep it short, but give people input on this. If
So
you're a
there
dog,
is
listen to
a
this shit.
respiratory illness
Night,
going
Michael.
on in dogs in North America because it's cold, or the Northern Hemisphere because it's cold. It's specific in North America for me, but I think it's all in the Northern Hemisphere. There's some sort of respiratory illness for dogs. Look it up if you have a dog. In North America, what they're recommending is you cancel grooming appointments. You do not take your dogs to dog parks. You do not take your dogs to daycare. You do not, unless you can confirm that everybody is healthy and isolating. And you don't just bring your dogs to a dog park or a park to hang out and
Dawn,
sniff
I'm
other
sorry to
people's,
hear
right?
that. Dawn.
Oh, Don McRoberts.
Yeah, right in the chat
That's
room. Don McRoberts just tested positive yesterday, so pay attention.
Tea with honey.
Remember, the fucking people who make fun of this shit they have been co-opted by disinformation. Don't get mad at them. Just, you know what? Put that thought in its place. Pay attention to science. Pay attention to fucking doctors. Pay attention to some fucking scientists. And that's stay science, right?
Yeah, stay science. Take care of your puppies too.
Yeah, your puppies too.
We
And
love
until
you.
then,
And Jenny says my daughter's vet practice is seeing respiratory illness. Yeah,
Oh, shit.
my pup Squeaky has a little contusion under her eye, and we've both been bringing her to the vet for the entire month of December
Dara Harris
for
too.
checking. And
That's two. Then we have in the chat room right now 2 daughters who are vets who are saying
no, that's
this is
the
a big
same.
deal.
They're married to
Oh,
each
shit.
other.
Of course.
That's yeah. But I will say this. I brought Squeaky for just a checkup for her little contusion, and they kept me in my car in the parking lot until it was time to see her, and that was 2 weeks ago. So be careful for your pups, because they might not be able to fight it as well as you would hope, and it's about to be Christmas, and you don't want that kind of heat.
Yeah, nobody wants fucking sick dogs on Christmas or sick people on Christmas. But you know what you do want on Christmas? You want to kiss off into the sky, which we're going to do right now. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back next week. She already told you all that information. Watch out for
take care of yourself
Watch out for
and-
yourselves. Watch out for your pups. And that's
Matt,
it.
take
Kiss up
good
the sky.
care of her.
Ho, ha, ho, 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 ha.